Milwaukee as the Padres had to fly from Milwaukee to Denver for a National League West grudge match. Just like that, Game 163 determined who would win the National League wild card. This was huge for Rockies fans as their favorite baseball team hadn't sniffed the postseason since 1995. Colorado began as an expansion franchise in 1993, and the Rockies earned the first ever NL wildcard spot in 1995. The Rockies fought hard in the division series against the Atlanta Braves, but the eventual World Series champion Braves took care of the Blake Street Bombers 3-1. But since then, the Rockies have always found ways to lose games. More importantly, it's their pitching staff who seemingly always lets them down. Even when the Rockies won the wild card in 1995, you probably don't know any of their starting pitchers. Kevin Ritz, Bill Swift, and Marvin Freeman were arguably their three best pitchers that season. Colorado was so desperate for starting pitching help that they signed Mike Hampton to an unreal 8-year, $121 million contract after the 2000 season concluded. All of the money in Major League Baseball is guaranteed, by the way, so why would the Rockies sign a pitcher to an 8-year deal? Simply put, it's hard to find free agent pitchers who want to pitch in Coors Field, the home ballpark of the Rockies where the ball hits the mile-high wind and sails out of play. If you don't remember Mike Hampton playing for the Rockies, you're not the only one. He only lasted 2 years in Denver, with his last season being a dreadful 6.14 ERA and opponents batted .313 against him. So for the Rockies to be successful, they usually need to outslug teams. But that wasn't exactly the case in 2007. Jeff Francis won 17 games for the Rockies this season. Ubaldo Jimenez was on this team, and the relatively unknown Aaron Cook posted an ERA under 4.2. In a nutshell, this surprising Rockies team can play a little small ball and outpitch teams as well. But tonight has been anything but a pitcher's duel. In a typical Coors Field shootout, the Rockies blew an early 3-0 lead. The San Diego Padres swiftly answered with 5 runs in the top of the third, and it looked like the Padres finally hit their stride in this do-or-die playoff game. And while the Rockies are unknown for playoff success, the history of the San Diego Fathers isn't a happy story either. The Padres have been to the World Series twice, but they've only been to the postseason a grand total of 5 times coming into tonight. Since joining Major League Baseball in 1969, the Padres have mostly been an afterthought in the National League West. Coming into the 2007 MLB season, Bruce Bochy had enough with postseason disappointments, and he left for greener pastures in San Francisco. Some Padres fans felt it was treason as Bochy led the team to division titles in 2005 and 2006. While they were back-to-back NL West crowns, the 2005 team barely finished with a winning record, and after being swept by the Cardinals in the NLDS, Bruce Bochy's team finished the year under 500 at 82-83. The 2006 squad was much better, but those pesky Cardinals were still too much for San Diego to handle. San Diego had home field advantage for the division series, but Bochy's crew only scored a single run in their first 2 postseason games. The offense was slightly awake when they entered Busch Stadium. A 3-1 win in Game 3 gave San Diego fans new hope, but it was quickly taken away during Game 4. 6 unanswered runs by St. Louis gave the Cardinals the series win and yet another postseason disappointment in Southern California. Bud Black took the 2007 job after Bochy left for the hated Giants. Led by NL Cy Young winner Jake Peavy, the Padres were in first place in the NL West as late as September 3rd. Peavy got the nod for this one-game playoff. It was his turn in the rotation since he hadn't pitched since September 26th. But for whatever reason, the best pitcher in the National League was anything but clutch tonight. 3 straight Rockies got on base to start off the bottom of the first, and after Yorvit Torrealba cranked a bomb to left field, the Rockies led 3-0 after 2 innings of baseball. Starting pitcher Josh Fogg was sent out in the top of the third to preserve the lead, but he simply wasn't up for the task. Peavy helped out his own cause with a leadoff single. Brian Giles found his way to first base with a walk, and after Scott Hairston hit a single to load the bases, Adrian Gonzalez emptied them with a game-changing grand slam. Fogg still couldn't settle down after the grand salami. Khalil Green and Josh Bard both got on base via the hit, forcing Fogg to intentionally walk Jeff Blum to load the bases. Brady Clark then made a solid contact with a ground ball to shortstop, and his speed forced the Rockies to just get the force out at second base. Just like that, it's now a 5-3 lead for Peavy and the Padres.
Matsui didn't get anything on this throw. Blum was all over him. He was a little off balance after he came across the bag to make the throw.
Neither team could score again in regulation, so we went to extra innings. The next 3 innings were full of drama as both teams had chances to score. San Diego had runners on first and second with 2 outs in the top of the 10th, but Matt Hergus jammed Giles and got the inning-ending ground out. Colorado had a golden opportunity for a walk-off win in the bottom of the 11th. With Brad Haupt at the plate, Colorado had the game-winning run 180 feet from home, but Joe Thatcher fooled Haupt on an 88-mile-per-hour fastball to end the threat. The Padres had their own runner in scoring position with less than 2 outs in the top of the 12th, but Brian Myro struck out, and Michael Barrett grounded out to keep the score at 6-6. The Rockies went 1-2-3 in the 12th game as the game entered inning number 13. And this was quite possibly the greatest extra inning in professional baseball history. 5 total runs would eventually be scored in this inning. With everything on the line, the offenses for both teams woke up in a huge way. San Diego struck first in the top half. Giles quite possibly had the game of his life by reaching base yet again. This time it was via the leadoff walk. Hairston, who was looking to make up for his anti-RBI single in the 8th inning, came up big with a giant 2-run homer to give the Padres the lead back, their first one since it was 5-4. Julio then gave up a single to Chase Headley, so Clint Hurdle had to call on Ramon Ortiz to limit the damage. Ortiz kept the score at 8-6 with 2 flyouts and a strikeout, but the Padres were now just 3 outs away from their 3rd straight trip to the NLDS. In came Trevor Hoffman for the save. It's hard to believe that Black never used Hoffman prior to the 13th inning, but credit Black for thinking his team would have the lead in extra innings. A future Hall of Famer, Hoffman was on the last Padres World Series team back in 1998. He finished in 2nd place for Cy Young voting on 2 different occasions. His last 2nd place Cy Young finish was just last season, where he saved 46 games for the division-winning Padres. He's been very good in 2007, although his ERA has climbed a bit since last year. Still, he entered tonight with an ERA well under 3 and a 2-run cushion. Even though the Padres are on the road in a very tough environment, there's no way that Hoffman could blow this. And yet the average baseball fan was wrong again. Everything that could go right has gone right for the Rockies since the middle of September. So with that logic in mind, the hitting sticks were available to everyone in the bottom of the 13th. Back-to-back doubles by Mitsui and Tulowitzki put the tying run on second base with nobody out. And if you could believe it, another trip told Hoffman to intentionally walk Rockies legend Todd Helton. Not a bad decision, obviously, since Jamie Carroll was due up next and not Garrett Atkins. Even though Hoffman is facing the middle of the order, manager Clint Hurdle decided to have Carroll pinch run for Atkins in the bottom of the 7th. There was 1 out with Atkins at second base. While the Rockies were up by 1 at the time and needed some insurance runs, deciding to pinch run for your 5-hole hitter is always risky. The Rockies, of course, didn't score that inning and now needed the little-known Carroll to drive the ball into the outfield for a walk-off win. Carroll wasn't exactly a threat at the plate. In fact, he was a borderline disaster when it came to offense. After batting .300 during the 2006 regular season, he was a major disappointment this season by hitting just .222 in 107 games coming into tonight. But tonight was a different story. His 2-out single preserved the 11th inning rally before Haupt inevitably went down on strikes. So as of now, Hurdle's decision to put Carroll in the lineup as a substitute is starting to look okay. And with nobody out, all Carroll needs is a fly ball. But is Holliday the right guy to score the winning run on a potential sacrifice fly? Haha, absolutely not. He only stole 11 bases during the year and was caught on 4 of those attempts. However, his base running IQ was off the charts during his prime, as he stole 28 bases on 30 attempts in 2008. Well, here we go. It's the first pitch of the at-bat. Can Hoffman jam the non-explosive Carroll into a ground ball with the infield now in? Will Holliday run on contact? If the ball is hit into the outfield, can the Padres outfielders throw out Holliday and keep their team alive? Hold on a second. Did Holliday actually touch home plate? Let's look at that again. I'll be darned. I don't think he touched the plate. Michael Barrett tagged him, but the home plate umpire determined that Holliday touched home base. This was years before instant replay challenges, by the way, so the Padres had to live with home plate umpire Todd McClellan's safe call. Murphy's Law to the fullest. Whatever can go right for the Rockies has gone right. Rocktober began in the grandest of ways as Holliday's walk-off sacrifice fly run paved the way to 7 straight victories and an eventual trip to the World Series. Since then, the Padres have only been to the playoffs once. The Rockies have played in 2 more wild-card games since 2007, which concludes an extra inning win over the Cubs at Wrigley Field.
And the Rockies have won 14 of their last 15 games to get to the postseason.
Little extra effort to get it done tonight.
Sports Broadcast Solutions is a broadcasting network for everyone. For those of you that just want raw footage of your sporting event, but no play-by-play or color commentary, you just need us to live stream video from the event over the internet. We will live stream your event on YouTube on our Sports Broadcast Solutions channel. In addition, we also have a dedicated channel on YouTube for live streaming at SBS Livestream. And if you need multiple channels, we can utilize Facebook Livestream and Instagram Live on our channel as well. Options include commercials from your sponsors, professional scoreboard graphics are still available, and of course, yes, pre- and post-game interviews are available as an option if you want.
We've been working really hard this whole summer and stuff.
Whatever your sports broadcast needs, we are at sportsbroadcastsolutions.com. Check us out and become part of the digital sporting world. Sports Broadcast Solutions is a broadcasting network for everyone. Let SBS broadcast your sporting event. We have experience and can generate excitement and permanent digital memories for your team.
Tonight. That time, finally a goal for the Stampede!
We have professional videographers using high-definition modern-day cameras. Sports Broadcast Solutions is a broadcasting network for everyone. For those of you that just want raw footage of your sporting event, but no play-by-play or color commentary, you just need us to live stream video from the event over the internet. We will live stream your event on YouTube on our Sports Broadcast Solutions channel. In addition, we also have a dedicated channel on YouTube for live streaming at SBS Livestream. And if you need multiple channels, we can utilize Facebook Livestream and Instagram Live on our channel as well. Options include commercials from your sponsors, professional scoreboard graphics are still available, and of course, yes, pre- and post-game interviews are available as an option if you want.
We've been working really hard this whole summer and stuff.
Whatever your sports broadcast needs, we are at sportsbroadcastsolutions.com. Check us out and become part of the digital sporting world. Sports Broadcast Solutions is a broadcasting network for everyone. Instead of spending hundreds or thousands with all these college recruiting sites, let us put together your college highlight reel. For just a fraction of your potential college scholarship and significantly less than these recruiting services, we got this. In addition, we put together highlight reels for teams, including high school, your club team, or travel team.
My teammate gave me a great pass, and I just took it. The other team slashed me, took the opportunity, saw where the goalie was weak, and I just shot it there.
Solon, O'Connor, and Marsh back on defense, and Marsh gets a blowout. We got a breakaway, a 2-on-0, a shot, and a goal! So 3-3, the power play was officially over.
Whatever your sports broadcast needs, check us out at sportsbroadcastsolutions.com. Check us out and become part of the digital world. It's October 26th, 1991, Game 6 of the 91 World Series at the Metronome in Minneapolis, Minnesota. It's an unlikely matchup between the Atlanta Braves and the Minnesota Twins. The Twins won the World Series just 4 years ago, but like the Braves, they weren't supposed to be here. Kirby Puckett is at the plate, and you might know what happens next on this 2-1 pitch. And for that, I'll give you a virtual high five due to your ability to use the internet. But for those of you who don't want to cheat via Wikipedia or BaseballReference.com, let's get in that DeLorean and crank it to 88 miles per hour. It's time to travel back in time, or as SB Nation would say, let's rewind. The 1991 Fall Classic was far from straight chalk when it comes to the gambling mindsets of sports bettors. According to TampaBay.com, the Braves were once 250-1 odds-on favorites to win the World Series. If you bet $100 on the Twins in spring training, that was a great bet, as they were 100-1 odds to win it all. In fact, both teams finished in last place in their respective divisions the year prior. The Braves were actually in the National League West back then, and although they'd be dominant in the later part of the decade, the beginning of the 1990s wasn't friendly to Bobby Cox's team. The first year of the 90s saw the Braves finish the regular season at just 65-97, but general manager John Schuerholz saw something in Cox, and the fiery skipper become the head honcho on June 23, 1990, replacing Russ Nixon. It didn't lead to an improvement when it came to wins. The Braves were 25-41 when Nixon received the pink slip, and they finished the year 26 games out of first with Cox as the manager. Still, the players seemed to respond to the 50-year-old skipper the next season. The Braves were notably better, but a World Series appearance still seemed very unlikely on July 11th. A .500 record at just 40-40, the Braves were on the cusp of being sellers at the trade deadline. But then something happened. The Braves just refused to lose. An incredible 54-28 finish to the season saw the Braves 4 wins away from a National League pennant. They clinched the division on the second to last of the season, with the Braves remaining in first place from September 20th until the clincher on October 5th. The stunned Los Angeles Dodgers couldn't believe it. How could a Braves team who were at .500 practically halfway through the season keep them from an NL pennant? As for the Braves themselves, next came the Pittsburgh Pirates, led by Silver Slugger Barry Bonds. If the regular season was crazy enough for Atlanta sports fans to start believing, the 1991 National League Championship Series was something we probably won't ever see again. 4 shutouts took place in the series, including 3 1-0 shutouts. The Pirates were the heavy favorites to advance to the World Series. A 98-win team, the Pirates won the division by an easy 14 games. John Smiley won 20 games for the Buccos, the last time a Pirates pitcher won 20 games during the 20th century. Doug Drabick was the reigning NL Cy Young Award winner, and with Bombs and Bobby Bonilla still in the primes of their careers, there's no way that Bobby Cox's Cinderella story could still wear their gold slipper going into the championship round, right? Wrong. Tom Glavine, the 1991 NL Cy Young winner, was on this Braves team, but he actually underperformed in the series. Game 1 went to the better-seeded Pirates, a well-deserved 5-1 win to the higher seed as the Pirates scored the game's first 5 runs. Glavine was the loser in this one by walking 3 batters and giving up 4 unearned runs. Atlanta's David Justice hit a leadoff homer in the top of the 9th inning. Sports Broadcast Solutions is a broadcasting network for everyone. Instead of spending hundreds or thousands with all these college recruiting sites, let us put together your college highlight reel for just a fraction of your potential college scholarship. And significantly
Test 2, test 3, test 4, test 5. We are here in Lake Forest, Illinois. I'm Kyle Smith alongside Ryan Zimmerman. It is cold, it is snowy, and this is what hockey was meant for, Ryan.
You're giving these kids a chance to play under the lights, outdoors. It's like their own version of the Winter Classic out here. This will be a game, win or lose, that these players will remember for the rest of their lives.
All right, let me listen to it.
'91, Game 6 of the '91 World Series at the Metronome in Minneapolis, Minnesota. It's an unlikely matchup between the Atlanta Braves and the Minnesota Twins, World Series champions. Gone were the days of Harmon Killebrew and Rod Carew, but these new Twinkies were still fan favorites. Kirby Puckett, a former junior college player, led the charge in center field. But interestingly enough, not a single player on the Twins had 100 runs batted in during the '91 regular season. The Twins weren't a team known for power. Puckett only drilled 15 homers in 1991, a huge contrast to the 1987 squad when he hit 28 homers. The 1991 Twins were scrappy, annoying, and hard to beat. Designated hitter Chili Davis was the only Twin with over 25 home runs, and the lone 20-game winner on the pitching staff wasn't future Hall of Famer Jack Morris. That distinction went to Scott Erickson. Still, the Twins cruised to an AL West Division title by commanding 8 games. And after dismantling the Toronto Blue Jays in just 5 games during the ALCS, it looked like the Twins had the upper hand for the 1991 World Series crown. After all, the Braves barely squeezed into the World Series, while the Twins looked like the far more superior team. But the World Series started anyway, with Cox proving to the rest of the world that he would become one of the game's all-time great managers. Down in an early 0-2 hole, the Braves looked like a completely different ball club when they flew back to Atlanta. 3 straight victories at the old Fulton County Stadium, including a 14-5 convincing victory over the seemingly unbeatable Twins, put the Twins in major trouble. Just like that, Tom Kelly's squad looked all but done. The problem was, they weren't. Plus, they still got to go back home for Games 6 and 7, assuming they could force a Game 7. The 1991 World Series became one of the all-time greats, and Game 6 was no exception to the rule. The Twins struck first with 2 ball players crossing home plate in the bottom of the first inning. The Braves seemed to have the momentum back after Terry Pendleton hit a 2-run bomb in the top of the 5th. Determined to play Game 7 at the old Hubert H. Humphrey Metrodome, the Twins got the lead back in the bottom of the frame. And after battling to a leadoff walk, Don Gladden stole second base. A couple of flyouts later, including the sacrifice fly by Puckett, gave the Twins the lead back. But don't count these Braves out. Up by a run in the top of the 7th, Kelly allowed starting pitcher Scott Erickson to run back out there. But after a leadoff single to Mark Lemke, Kelly had no choice but turned to Mark Guthrie. Guthrie started off okay with a strikeout to Jeff Blauser, but then location and accuracy came to bite him in the butt. A walk to Lonnie Smith, including a can't-have-it wild pitch, put Kelly in a tough spot. Guthrie was able to jam Terry Pendleton, but with Chuck Knobloch playing at double-play depth, Pendleton's little nubber got enough of the AstroTurf to give him ample time to claim the infield single. Just like that, we have bases loaded, and Kelly was forced to go to the bullpen yet again. In came Carl Willis. It was also decision time for Kelly. Should he bring the infield in, bring in the corners and play double play depth, or play double play depth around the infield? The Twins decided to play back with the middle infield, and it cost them. Ron Gant's ground ball in between the third base and shortstop hole allowed him to beat out the fielder's choice, and the Braves were once again in business.
Gant with a good jump out of the box just beats the play.
A 3-3 tie with runners on the corners. Willis was in a huge pickle, but he threw a devastating 2-2 off-speed pitch to Davis Justice to get him to swing and miss. The lead was gone, but the tie still remained. The Twins had a golden opportunity to retake the lead in the bottom of the 8th. Puckett stole second base with 2 outs, but Shane Mack couldn't drive him in. Nobody got close to tying it in the 9th, so Braves fans had to wait until extra innings to see if their team would be sipping the champagne in the locker room. Remember, this was a big deal for Braves fans. Atlanta hadn't won a World Series since relocating from Milwaukee, and the city of Atlanta had never seen a professional sports team win a championship up to this point. Atlanta nearly obtained their first lead of Game 6 in the top of the 10th. A leadoff single by Pendleton looked to be great for the Braves, but a stolen base attempt, or perhaps a hit and run, led to a slow-moving line drive and an easy double play for the Twins. So much for that potential rally. The Twins went 1-2-3 in the bottom of the 10th, so we went to the 11th. The Braves somehow got another leadoff single, this time by Sid Bream. However, Bream probably should have been at second base, if not for his oft-injured right knee. He crushed the first pitch down the first base line, but couldn't advance into scoring position. Keith Mitchell had to pinch run for him, and in this era of old-school baseball, stolen bases were more commonplace. Mitchell got caught stealing on the first pitch of Brian Hunter's at-bat, and that pretty much did in the rally. No more base runners for the Braves. Should Cox allow Alejandro Pena to pitch into the 11th? Pena might be needed for Game 7, so Cox is pretty much forced into allowing Charlie Liebrant to man the rubber in the bottom of the 11th. Liebrant probably wasn't the ideal choice. He had an ERA over 4 coming into this pitching appearance, and with Puckett leading off the inning, Cox was just praying Liebrant could force a 12th frame. And now Puckett can make history with a walk-off blast. But to understand how memorable this home run could be for Puckett, you have to know his life's history. Puckett grew up on the south side of Chicago. He was so small for center field, just 5'8", that he didn't receive a single scholarship once he graduated from Calumet High School. He actually entered the workforce right out of prep school at the Ford Motor Company. Luckily for him, Bradley University, an NCAA Division I school in the Missouri Valley Conference, gave him a shot. He then had to transfer to Triton College due to becoming academically ineligible at Bradley. However, he had what it took to play at the next level, and the Twins took a huge risk by drafting a junior college ball player with the third.
Test 1, test 2, test 1, test 2. All right, Ryan, speak. Oh, where's your... Oh, duh.
Test, check. Test, check.
What?
Test, check. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It is a snowy day here in Lake Forest for some hockey. You need me to keep going?
No.
All right.
That should work. Let me just check to make sure.
At one point, the Minnesota Vikings seemed like they overpaid for Kirk Cousins. After reaching the NFC Championship game with Case Keenum under center, Cousins was supposed to be the guy who would bring them back to the Super Bowl for the first time since the 1970s, offering the free agent quarterback a very rare, fully guaranteed contract. Cousins has repaid the franchise with just one playoff win. And after the Vikings missed the playoffs in 2018 and 2020, it seemed like the Vikes made the wrong decision by spending big money on the former Washington football team quarterback. But in 2021, Kirk Cousins and Kyler Murray. This is very impressive as Murray has missed 3 consecutive starts due to a nagging ankle injury. His team's record is the definition of mediocre at 5-6, but at least 2 of those losses are definitely not the fault of the Vikings starting quarterback. One such loss was the NFL's opening weekend against the Cincinnati Bengals. Driving down the field late in overtime, Dalvin Cook fumbled at the absolute worst time of the ballgame, allowing the Bengals to win it on the subsequent next drive. In Week 2 against the NFC's best record in the Arizona Cardinals, Cousins was quite possibly the better quarterback on this day. Cousins threw for 3 touchdowns and 0 interceptions, while Murray got picked up twice at his home stadium. The Vikings were in a prime position to upset the Redbirds, but Greg Joseph's 37-yard field goal attempt went wide right, helping the Cardinals hold on for a 1-point win. The Cards were also helped out by Matt Prater showing off his boot with a 62-yarder just before halftime. In practically historic fashion, the Vikings found improbable ways to lose back-to-back games, neither of which can be blamed on their signal caller. And while Nick Foles didn't win the MVP award in 2013, even though his TD pass-to-interception ratio that season was 27-2, that was the same year when Peyton Manning absolutely shattered the record books. Also, Foles only started 10 games in 2013. Possibly the Cardinals is running away in the standings, Cousins is still very much in the MVP race. Extraordinary efforts of Jonathan Taylor in his backfield. All things considered, Derrick Henry had the MVP award all wrapped up, But with him missing nearly half of the season, he's no longer eligible for the MVP trophy. My pick for MVP would be Kyler Murray, especially since A.J. Green single-handedly blew away a win for the Cards, but Murray has still missed 3 games due to injury. Colt McCoy won 2 of those 3 starts for the 9-2 record, proving that Cliff Kingsbury deserves to be a head coach in the NFL. Aaron Rodgers is an easy pick for MVP, but the argument can be made that Cousins in the red zone at 117.5. Granted, Jalen Hurts and Matt Ryan are in second and third place for the statistic. Hurts and Ryan are obviously not eligible for the MVP award, so it's important to take Pro Football Focus statistics with a grain of salt. However, Cousins has other analytics to prove he's worthy of being honored as the best in the league. On September 27th, PFF had Cousins listed as the best QB when it comes to throws over 10 yards. This has continued into late November as Cousins, Murray, and Joe Burrow are listed as the 3 best quarterback when it comes to throwing past the first down marker. If we continue on with PFF, Tom Brady is the only quarterback with a better grade than Cousins. He's absolutely deadly with a clean pocket. According to Pro Football Focus, Cousins has completed up to 81% of his passes when he doesn't have to rush a pass. Some people hate PFF, and that's fine to disagree with their procedure on ranking players. So how about Football Outsiders? Going into Week 12, Cousins was in second place for the following Football Outsiders projected numbers: defense-adjusted yards above replacement and defense-adjusted value over average, and going into Week 13, this hasn't changed much. Football Outsiders, similar to Pro Football Focus, looks at each play and how the quarterback is getting the job done. For example, a 5-yard completion on 3rd and 5 is less valued for DVOA calculations than a 12-yard completion on 3rd and 12. A passing touchdown at the 5-yard line on a screen pass is less valued than a 30-yard TD pass right on target. DVOA and DYAR equates to Cousins doing a lot more than just managing the offense or simply handing it off to Cook. That being said, the Vikings offense has been very prolific in 2021. Justin Jefferson is currently 3rd in receiving yards, and the always reliable Cook is 5th in rushing yards. Still, Cousins and his 23 touchdown passes and 3 interceptions allows the offense to stay on the field. He's also not fumbling the football. Murray has been fabulous in Glendale, Arizona, but he's also fumbled the ball 7 times. Cousins has only coughed it up once in 2021. Lamar Jackson and Dak Prescott have each fumbled it 4 times. Can a non-quarterback win the award in 2021? Sure. Cooper Kupp has probably been more important to the new look Rams offense than Matthew Stafford, and he's on track to have 1,900 receiving yards in Los Angeles. But in case the MVP voting committee wants to stick with the quarterback position, it's hard to go against Cousins. He has a better passer rating than Justin Herbert. His adjusted QBR is better than Josh Allen, although the Bills' starting quarterback is probably no longer a contender for MVP. Once again, it's fine to vote for Rodgers. It's even fine to consider Jonathan Taylor for MVP if the Indianapolis Colts keep winning games and go to the playoffs. But if there are still Vikings fans who think that a new QB would help the Vikings win more games, they would probably be mistaken. The Vikings have lost 2 games in overtime this season. In both of those OT games, Cousins didn't throw a pick and had a better QB rating than the opposing QB. He has outplayed Rodgers, Herbert, Jackson, and other notable quarterbacks this season. Is Cousins the best player in the NFL when healthy? In a word, no. The best player in the NFL is arguably Derrick Henry, but with King Henry out of commission for the foreseeable future, Cousins is a worthy choice for MVP honors. Also, Dalvin Cook has a dislocated shoulder and will be hampered by it for the next couple of weeks. Even before suffering the dislocated shoulder last weekend, he's averaging a mere 4.5 yards per carry, the worst of his short career. As such, it's not as though Cook is carrying the Vikings offense. It's okay to not vote for Cousins, but if he doesn't get a single vote for MVP, that would be a shame. But what do you think? Does Cousins have a chance to win the MVP award, especially if the Vikings make the playoffs? Make sure to comment below and subscribe to Sports Broadcast Solutions.
Hey guys, how's it going? I just wanted to try something new. I know we've done a lot of cool videos with should the White Sox trade for Mike Trout and what should the Bears do with Justin Fields in Week 1. And we like what Flemlo Raps does, but sometimes he doesn't do the athletes that I want to see. So I thought I would answer the question, what happened to David Garrard? And here goes.
It's never easy to play the quarterback position at the NFL level. Couple that with being abnormally large for the position and dealing with Crohn's disease, and you have the very underrated career of David Garrard. What makes Garrard's college and NFL career so interesting is nothing came easy for him. He seemed to be a tight end who was actually playing QB. Remember, he was around 240 pounds when he stepped on East Carolina University's campus, but as we later found out, there simply wasn't anything that Garrard couldn't do. The only issue was his ball placement and accuracy, but I'm getting ahead of myself. When looking at the career of Garrard, you always think of two words: never quit. Garrard wasn't the fastest, and he certainly looked too big to play QB. The former Jaguars quarterback sometimes reminded me of Jared Lorenzen, but when the Jacksonville Jaguars needed a big play, Garrard would give you that Cinderella moment, coming out of nowhere and then getting the job done. And although his career probably wasn't as good as Mark Brunell's, he still was one of the all-time greatest Jaguar players. The Jacksonville Jaguars YouTube account lists Garrard as number 23 all-time as a Jaguar player, and I disagree with that. He should be much higher on that list, especially since he didn't always have the most talent around him. But let's not delay any further. As Flemlo Raps would say, this is what happened to David Garrard. Garrard began playing football at around 8 years old, and to no surprise to many people watching this video, many of his coaches didn't see his future at quarterback. When Garrard attended Neal Middle School in Durham, North Carolina, his coaches instead put him at fullback. He was so big that he was basically the Mike Allstott of middle school football, as he pretty much carried the opposing defenders down the field. And according to Garrard, he didn't mind playing fullback. I was happy with the arrangement because I got the majority of the carries, said Garrard. I never even thought about playing quarterback. In fact, it was his preteen and early teenager teammates who actually vouched for him to play quarterback. To test his ability to effectively play the position, his coaches would line up a handful of players 15 yards away from Garrard and tell him to zip the ball to them. After easily completing the passes, the coaches told him to put even more oomph on his throws, and according to Garrard's ego, he quote-unquote lit it up on his next several passes. And from that moment on, he was a future NFL quarterback. But Garrard playing the QB position still came with its set of drawbacks. Garrard entered the NFL when Donovan McNabb and Michael Vick were just getting their feet wet as a black quarterback in the NFL. And for people who weren't born in the early 2000s, it was very much a stereotype that coaches and GMs would stay away from drafting African American quarterbacks. In essence, drafting a black quarterback came with its controversies. Remember when Eagles fans booed at the Donovan McNabb draft selection? It's obviously dumb to point out a purely racism problem since Randall Cunningham, Dante Culpepper, Vic McNabb, and others all got their shot at QB, but black quarterbacks were still very much a small number in the NFL.
Coach Logan, they said, you know what, you run down the field and people get out of the way like a beer truck that's out of control. And I ran with it.
Secondly, while Garrard's East layman's terms, Wilson's undefeated BYU squad, until their loss to Coastal Carolina, proved to some NFL draft scouts that he's the real deal at QB. Garrard, you might ask? His best season at East Carolina was 9-3, which included ECU defeating the number 13-ranked Miami Hurricanes that season. A very good record at 9-3, but it was still a far cry from Alex Smith's undefeated season when he played quarterback at the University of Utah. Regardless of the reason why Garrard fell in the draft, the Jaguars took a chance on him in the 4th round, and they were rewarded with a fairly decent quarterback. Despite being diagnosed with Crohn's disease in January of 2004, the former ECU Pirate ended up getting honored for the 2009 Pro Bowl, won a playoff game, and even finished with just over 16,000 passing yards in his career. If you're not familiar with Crohn's disease, here's the SparkNotes summary of the illness. Crohn's is an inflammatory bowel disease that causes inflammation of the person's digestive tract. This disease can lead to abdominal pain, severe diarrhea, fatigue, weight loss, and malnutrition.
While not usually life-threatening, this IBD can lead to kidney stones, inflammation of the liver, and inflammation of the eyes. To sum up, it certainly isn't easy playing the hardest position of the 4 major American sports and being malnutritious, aka having Crohn's disease. Thankfully for Gerard, Crohn's was very treatable in 2000. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another production of Sports Broadcast Solutions. My name is Kyle Smith, alongside Ryan Kammerer, for tonight's broadcast of the Chicago Mission in the light green against Mount St. Charles in the red. We hope you're enjoying it. And, Brian, this is what hockey was meant for. Outside, blizzard conditions. It's old-style pond hockey in Lake Forest, Illinois.
It's like a little winter classic for these guys, too. I mean, this is what you dream about, isn't it? Under the lights here at the Winter Club in Lake Forest. 2 of the top teams in U14 in the United States going at it. Win or lose, these players are going to remember this for the rest of their lives.
I'm going to remember it, especially for that long drive home. But for now, let's have some fun. It's pond hockey, and partner, these teams played each other in the newer version of hockey. They played some indoor puck yesterday afternoon on New Year's Eve. The Mission won that one, and they won that game 7-4.
Yeah, they really pulled away late. Mount St. Charles kept it close, but Chicago Mission just had a little too much down the stretch, and that's what really made the difference.
They scored the empty netter to make it 7-4. Some teams, especially when it comes to tiebreakers for these tournaments, they will refuse pulling the goalie down too late so that they don't have that goals against tiebreaker for future tourneys. But Mount St. Charles in this 1-1 friendly, a game yesterday, a game today, they pull the goalie down too. McKinney scores to make it 7-4. And today we've got New Year's Day hockey. And partner, do you think the weather is going to impact both teams, or more so Rhode Island, Mount St. Charles, the long flight in from Rhode Island, plus the weather tonight?
Well, I really don't think it's going to impact one team more than it is the other. I mean, you don't see that many games played outdoors, so I really think it's going to have an equal effect on both teams, and it's really going to affect speed. With all the extra snow on the ice, it's going to be a little harder to move the puck as quickly as both teams would like. So we may see a little slower game, but still, that's going to create a really good environment. And I think the team that wins is the team that learns how to manage the elements the best.
The leading scorers brought to you by SportsBroadcastSolutions.com. According to the website for Mount St. Charles, this is not updated, by the way, Liam Kilfoyle leads the team in goals and assists, 7 goals, 7 assists. Conrad Fonerick, 6 goals, 6 assists. Nicholas Whitehead, that bad penalty yesterday, partner, the only penalty of the game, and the Mission scored 10 seconds into their power play to make it a 5-3 lead. They eventually won that game, of course, 7-4. Nicholas Whitehead, 5 goals, 4 assists, trying his best to avoid the penalty box tonight. Caden Kern, 4 goals, 3 assists. Egan Beveridge, 3 goals, 7 assists. And Dominic Sama, 2 goals and 3 assists. By the way, the text line is open tonight. Your favorite NHL, college hockey, or high school hockey memory. The text line is open tonight at 330-957-7653. All FCC regulations do apply. We're going to take a quick 30-second break, and then we'll have some outdoor hockey. You are watching the Mission against Mount St. Charles here on SBS. So mute the mic. You can do touchscreen.
At one point, the Minnesota Vikings seemed like they overpaid for Kirk Cousins. After reaching the NFC Championship game with Case Keenum under center, Cousins was supposed to be the guy who would bring them back to the Super Bowl for the first time since the 1970s. Offering the free agent quarterback a very rare, fully guaranteed contract, Cousins has repaid the franchise with just 1 playoff win. And after the Vikings missed the playoffs in 2018 and 2020, it seemed like the Vikes made the wrong decision by spending big money on the former Washington football team quarterback. But in 2021, Kirk Cousins arguably than Kyler Murray, This is very impressive as Murray has missed 3 consecutive starts due to a nagging ankle injury. His team's record is the definition of mediocre at 5-6, but at least 2 of those losses are definitely not the fault of the Vikings starting quarterback. One such loss was the NFL's opening weekend against the Cincinnati Bengals. Driving down the field late in overtime, Dalvin Cook fumbled at the absolute worst time of the ball.
Mount St. Charles against the Mission. We're about to play some puck in about 20 seconds from now. We'll give you the starting lineups. That's brought to you by the Chicago Mission, powered by Coyote Logistics. All right, partner, I got to ask you this. Are you a Coyote guy, or do you pronounce it Coyote? Because you can pronounce it both ways.
Well, I don't pronounce it either because I used to work for a competitor, but it's Coyote.
You go with Coyote? I've been transferring from Coyote to Coyote.
Well, I go with Echo Global Logistics, but it is Coyote Logistics. I can't really show them some love. You can, but I still kind of can't.
All right. Today's game, not really brought to you by Coyote, but it kind of is. How does that sound?
We'll roll with it.
The Mission in the beautiful light green, Mount St. Charles in the red, blue, and white.
The Montreal Canadiens drip, if I do say so myself.
You know, you bring up the Canadiens, Mount St. Charles, they've won 26 state championships, a very good program, but Chicago Mission has a better national ranking this year. Number 2, Mount St. Charles, number 3, according to USA Hockey.
Well, both of these teams have a very storied past. Both have put players in the National Hockey League. Mount St. Charles has had 2 number 1 overall picks, including the first ever American number 1 overall pick in Brian Lawton. So it's a game of tradition amongst 2 youth hockey programs that have been some of the best across this country for some time.
We're going to take a break. We got a special treat for you guys tonight. You probably know the voice of who's singing the national anthem. And if you don't, you're probably not a Blackhawks fan. We're going to take a break. National anthem coming up next here on SBS.
Would there be an issue if I tilted the screen at all?
I would just keep it there.
Okay. Yeah, I was thinking tilting up with the Lily, but I can just push down. It's not an issue.
All right. We're going to take a 15-second break. More hockey coming up after this here on SBS. So mute.
Solutions is a broadcasting network for everyone. Instead of spending hundreds or thousands with all these college recruiting sites, let us put together your college highlight reel. For just a fraction of your potential college scholarship and significantly less than these recruiting services, we got this. In addition, we put together highlight reels for teams, including high school, your club team, or travel team.
My teammate gave me a great pass, and I just took it. The other team slashed me, took the opportunity, saw where the goalie was weak, and I just shot it there.
Solon, O'Connor, and Marsh back on defense. And Marsh gets a blowout. We got a breakaway at 2-0. A shot, and a goal! So 3-3. The power play was officially over.
Whatever your sports broadcast needs, check us out at Sports Broadcast.
Here we go. The Mission in the green, Mount St. Charles in the red. Kyle Smith alongside Ryan Zimmerman. Hutchin, off his 2-goal performance yesterday afternoon, will rejoin line one on right wing. Kern opposing him. Here we go. Outdoor hockey here in Lake Forest. It's won by the Mission. Neutralized battle won by Chicago, and they'll get it past center ice. Past the blue line out of the corner. And going to be played by Mount St. Charles out behind the net. Out at the corner. And picked up by the Mission. They'll play it at the corner, trying to keep it in. An early forecheck right now for Chicago. Trying to continue on with the good play they had yesterday. And the puck will be frozen up by the netminder for Mount St. Charles. So good early forecheck right there, partner, by the Chicago Mission.
Yeah, they did a really nice job. As soon as they lost the puck in the attacking zone, they just kept the pressure on Mount St. Charles, made sure they couldn't do anything with it. And the best possible scenario for Mount St. Charles, they get that face-off.
Face-off coming up. Left face-off dot. McKinney will take it for the Mission. It continues to snow. We're going to have snow all night long here in Lake Forest. An interesting way to start 2022. A snowstorm on the North Shore. It's won by Mount St. Charles in their own zone. They'll dump it out past the blue line. Some hard hitting going on. And then we played out into the zone of the Chicago Mission. Checked into the boards. McKinney goes after it. And here come Mount St. Charles on their forecheck. Out to the boards. What are you seeing early on by both teams on their forecheck, partner?
Well, both teams are just trying to play super aggressive. We're playing outdoor hockey, and they're playing like they're playing on the pond, like they've got nothing to lose.
Nothing to lose indeed. An exhibition game, but both teams want to win, of course, in front of their friends, family, and loved ones. Both in person here on YouTube Live as well. Now past the blue line, setting it up to neutralize. Here come the Mission, second forecheck of the game, as they try to score early on in Lake Forest. Picked up by Mount St. Charles, and the Mounties will dump it in backhanded style. Picked up by the netminder for Chicago, and they'll do a little line change and try to set something up deep in the zone, but can't. Picked up by Mount St. Charles. The Mounties will take it out into the other zone. Picked up at the near corner, checked hard into the boards, and the Mounties on their forecheck. 14:22 to go. Both teams without a shot on goal. Trying to center it, partially deflected. Mounties remain in possession. It's getting very snowy, so those passes up the boards, partner, you might not have to use those as much because there's a lot of inertia there.
Like we were talking about during the pregame, too, the snow is really going to slow these teams down, and it has a lot to do with puck movement.
Ill-advised pass. Good move. Trying to get it in the net. And a goal early on for the Mission. Chicago. Technically it's neutralized, but we would call this more their home ice than Mount St. Charles, obviously. And in the Chicagoland area, they strike first in the 2022 Outdoor Classic.
And that's just an example of the snow slowing the puck down. Mount St. Charles wanted to go D to D on that last pass, but the snow just put it right in the path of the Chicago Mission forward. And when he's one-on-one with the goaltender, he's not going to miss.
Out at the corner, trying to center it. It's going to be a lot less passing to the boards as that snow is just stopping the puck. Boudreau looking to keep it in, as was Kreiker. Now out to the near boards. Picked up by Mount St. Charles, played near us, and it'll be past the stick of Boudreau as the Mounties look to get it out. Hit into the board, centering the puck, now out to the corner. Played by the Mission, setting it up in front. Backhanded shot, goes wide, out behind the netminder of the Mounties, and a pinch for the Mission. Maybe ill-advised. Here come the Mounties, a 2-on-2 the other way for MSC. Taking them off the puck. Mission get it back, and they'll play it in their own zone. Try to set up in front, double team style. A hard hit of the boards, tying them up. As Carter got taken off the puck, it eventually bounces its way into the zone of Mount St. Charles. Snow and wind starting to pick up in Lake Forest, now out behind the net of Mount St. Charles. Picked up by Chicago, nursing an early lead. Both teams have had their chances, more for Chicago thus far, and they lead by a goal. Another chance, backhanded shot. Might have been touched a little bit by the goalie's glove. Meanwhile, goes out to the corner, trying to set it up in front. Pinched by the Mission, trying to shoot it out, and picked up by Chicago. It's going to be different type of hockey, as that snow is just stopping that puck.
And it's all over, too. They Zambonied the ice before we got out here, but not even 10 minutes later, and there's a fresh sheet on top of this ice.
Out at neutral ice, picked up by Chicago. McKinney's no-look pass, stolen away by the Mounties. Good no-look pass. Odd man rusher, Mount St. Charles. And it hits a divot in the ice, more like snow, and then covered up by the netminder. Bad break for the Mounties there, partner.
And that's exactly the type of turnover they want to create. They kept up the pressure in the neutral zone, then they turned it into a shot. Not much more you could ask for there, especially in the conditions.
Yeah, I want to say a divot, but it might have also been some snow, as that puck was just stopping all of a sudden. Picked up by Chicago, trying to play it out to the board. Stolen away. Out to neutral ice. Chicago, a tap pass. Here they come, offside against Chicago. Mount St. Charles with it out at the boards, trying to set it up to neutral ice. Picked up by Chicago. And now MSC with it. That'll be tapped into the zone. Played out at the boards. Now picked up by Chicago. And offside against the Mission. It continues to snow. We're underneath the canopy right now. Make sure none of the equipment gets wet. And do you think that these players can learn this on the fly, being so used to even ice, no snow? Because it's a different type of hockey right now. You're not going to be able to have those clean passes like a normal game.
Well, it depends how much pond hockey these guys played growing up. Obviously, in the competitive setting, you're playing indoors, and the ice is going to stay the same pretty much every single time. So we'll see how quickly these guys can adapt, and I think Mount St. Charles might have an edge, just a lot more ODRs out there, a lot more chances to play in these elements. They might be a little more used to it.
Absolutely. Out the corner, picked up by Chicago, stolen away by Mount St. Charles. Now played out the corner. Senercha tries to keep it in, he does. It bounces its way in front. Now played out at the corner. Bouncing puck, and the goalie will eventually smother it up for Chicago.
Excellent forechecking there from Mount St. Charles. It seems like every time a Chicago defenseman gets the puck in his own zone, there's a couple Mount St. Charles forwards there to try and dispossess him, and it created that attacking zone turnover and leads to a shot. They keep that up. That will turn into an equalizer.
Mission have it on the corner, trying to get it out to the blue line. Picked up by Mount St. Charles, tied up at neutral ice. Hit into the boards. McKinney's there, as was Kreiker. Now out on the board, trying to set it up in front. Whitehead's there. Whitehead had a couple of chances, the captain, to tie up the game, but couldn't get it done. Knutson was after it. Puck still not loose and finally cleared away from the boards. No-look backhander picked up behind the net. Played by the Mission. Already up by 1, but they are having trouble getting it out. Bouncing puck finds its way to neutral ice. Dumped back in by the Mounties. Off the stick of the netminder, he decides not to freeze. Line change coming up for MSC. Here comes Chicago. And the puck dribbles out near the blue line. The Mission with it. Trying to get deep in that time by Carter, and now played at neutral ice by the Mounties. A toe drag to himself, but an offside committed by Whitehead, and will reset play at 9:08.
The referee just had to draw a face-off dot into the snow, so these conditions aren't just affecting the players, but it's affecting the men in stripes too. This will be interesting to see how this game gets reffed going forward, just without the clarity you normally get from being in an indoor rink.
9:02 remaining, puck on the corner. Neither team has committed a penalty thus far. 16-minute periods. And a game like this, I don't think we're going to be calling a lot of penalties unless absolutely necessary to do so.
I like that. You just let them play.
It's got to be consistent for both teams. But like I said, I don't think there's going to be a lot of penalties issued tonight. Hall tries to keep it in. Fondrick had a piece of it. Now it's tapped into the zone of MSC. The Mounties with it. The young men from Rhode Island looking to avenge yesterday's loss. Yesterday was indoor hockey. Today it's outdoor hockey. In fact, it's more like sledding than hockey right now with how much snow is on the ice. .8:12 remaining. Text line is open. Your favorite NHL, college, or high school hockey memory, just text 330-957-7653. All FCC regulations do apply. Face-off won by the Mounties and then played at neutral ice by the Mission. And some cheating going on by the Mounties as one guy was past the blue line before the puck was there, and that's what they call offside.
I wouldn't say cheating, more just he slipped, but...
Hey, it's still cheating. I mean, you can't do that.
He wouldn't have been offsides if he didn't slip.
You can do it if the official's not paying attention, but technically, yes, it is cheating.
Just ask Matt Duchesne.
Puck scatters loose in the messy snow that is this outdoor rink. Now past neutral ice off the official. Now played near the Mountie boards. Eventually, you might have to get a towel to get rid of some of this snow. Bender trying to get it in. Liscana able to get a decent shot into the zone of the Mounties. Both teams with very few shots on goal. Mounties had an odd man rush 2-on-1, but the puck hit some snow and not able to get the backhanded shot on net. Mission lead by 1, 7:18 to go. We've got all elements tonight. Wind, snow, and cold. It's how hockey was played before the days of indoor rinks. Centering pass up to 14 of the Mounties. That's Davey. And now out to the corner as the Mission pick it up. Mission will play behind their own zone on the backhand. Double teamed. Risky play. It was almost stolen away by the Mounties. Setting up in front. Mission steal it. Slow moving puck from the snow. Really slow moving puck. Now a one-on-one for the Mission, but a great job there getting it out by the Mounties. Little poke jack by MSC. Now played off the boards to Knutson. Knutson backhanded to himself. He'll play it out to Carter. And Carter saucer pass out to the blue line. Trying to set up to the neutral ice. And we'll play on with the puck past the center line. Mission with it. That's Knutson again. Knutson hit hard into the boards. You can hear it from here to Chicago. Beveridge drills him. Now out past the blue line. Picked up by the Mission. After it now are the Mounties trying to get it out, and they can. Mission had a good forecheck to start the game, and since then it's been pretty even. 1-0 lead for Chicago. 16-minute periods. We're past the halfway mark. Looking to his point man. Stolen away by the Mounties off the skate. Trying to set up to center ice. Played off the boards and then eventually passed over the blue line. Little tap pass at neutral ice picked up by Mount St. Charles. Tap pass to himself, stolen away by the Mounties. Two on two, takes him off the puck. And a huge check, sending him out to the ice. Mission have it, 2-on-1. Trying to get it on net. Good blocker save. And not able to cover it up. Puck scatters out to the far corner. Be played inside the zone of Chicago. At neutral ice. And it went past the stick that time of Borzecki. Now into the zone of MSC. The Mounties trying to get it out. Breaking the puck out behind the net. Tap pass over to the boards. And then stolen away by the Mission out to the point man. Shooting it and didn't get it on net. Went wide out to the corner. Now out to the boards. Backhanded pass off the boards. And played off the stick of a Mission player. Mount St. Charles has it. Another tie-up. We've seen that a lot today, partner. Both teams doing a good job. Legal hooks and keeping the players off the puck.
That's pretty much all you can do when you can't move the puck as fast as you'd like.
Good saucer pass, but just went past the skate that time. Of Kilfoyle. He's their leading scorer coming in tonight. Kilfoyle had a goal and an assist yesterday, but just not enough defense by Mount St. Charles. They fell 7-4. One of those goals was an empty netter. Today, very low scoring, and unless it stops snowing, I think it's going to be a very low scoring game today. Mission have the edge. 1-0. 3:27 to go. Up behind the netminder of the Mission. Sanercha tries to keep it in. Four-handed shot blocked by the Mission, and they'll get it out. .305 to go as the puck finds itself to the corner. It's a pretty even hockey game right now. You could possibly give the edge slightly to the Mission on their forecheck, but both teams have an equal opportunity to win this game, especially according to their USA hockey rankings, both in the top 5. Setting it up in front, try to get it on net, turnaround shot, and the netminder was there with the stick. Trying to set up in front, no one home. Still out behind the net, and the net might have fallen off. We'll see what the call is. Partner got a better view than I had. What's the call here?
Our goalie just covered the puck.
Okay.
That may have moved a little bit as the netminder is just readjusting a little bit, but it didn't move enough to the point where you'd need to stop the game. In the NHL, the post is allowed to move maybe a couple inches before the referees have to call a loose net. At that point, it's the same type of idea.
Out at the corner, picked up by the Mission. As they'll try to keep it in. A lot of tie-ups, and that's also because of the elements. You just can't move that puck right now. It just stops on the snow.
And it's a trope we've been going back and forth about throughout this period. And during the rest of this game, I expect no different.
And you're just going to have to... this game might be who is more physical and can win those board battles, because you're going to get a lot of them tonight. Trying to set it up.
I mean,
think about play at the blue line. You go ahead, partner.
Think about how Chicago Mission scored their goal. How'd they do it? Snow slowed down a pass, and they had at a 1-on-0 with the goaltender. It's those type of goals that are going to win. It's just which team can pass the best throughout this elements and move the puck as quickly as they can.
Icing called against the Mounties. And if you're wondering why we're not getting a lot of icings, it's not because teams aren't trying, man. It's just because, Ryan, they can't because the puck stops with this snow.
I tell you what, whoever's driving the Zamboni in between periods deserves a hefty raise for the type of job he's going to have to do at the intermission.
You're going to have to get towels plus the Zamboni. It is a lot of snow. In fact, there might be more snow than ice right now. Meanwhile, 1:22 to go.
Might have to bring out some parents to do some shoveling too. I might have to grab a shovel.
This is getting nuts, but it's fun. 1-0 lead for the Mission. And if you like low-scoring games, this is the game for you. If you're looking for a 6-5 hockey game, I don't know if the Elements are going to allow that tonight.
I don't know if we'll get to 6 combined goals, let alone 6-5.
We had 7-4 yesterday, but I don't think we're getting to that today. 1:05 to go. Puck in the Mount MSC zone. The wind's starting to pick up as the snow. Tie up near the Mission bench. Going after it is Borzecki. Still can't get it out, as was Barnett. Barnett scored yesterday. .36 seconds left. .20 seconds left. Puck on the boards, trying to get it out to neutral ice. Picked up by the Mission. Hit hard into the boards. Crayer, as he was delivered that time by Liskawa. .5 seconds left in the first period. A tie-up, and that'll do it for the period. Mission lead 1-0 as we take a minute break here on SBS.
Sports Broadcast Solutions is a broadcasting network for everyone. Let SBS broadcast your sporting event. We have experience and can generate excitement and permanent digital memories for your team.
Tonight. That time, finally a goal for the Stampede.
We have professional videographers using high-definition modern-day cameras, color analysts, and play-by-play announcers with state-of-the-art, classy graphical scoreboards to keep you updated. Plus, we have commercials to advertise your team, club, or sponsor, and us. Plus, we do pregame and postgame interviews.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to the postgame show brought to you by Marion Central Catholic. My name's Kyle Smith, but my name doesn't matter. These young ladies matter. It's senior night as the Hurricanes win a battle down the stretch, 48-46.
Hi, I'm Carrie Kramer. I swim 50 breast, 50 free, and 100 back.
Whatever your sports broadcast needs, we are at sportsbroadcastsolutions.com. Check us out and become part of the digital sporting world. Sports Broadcast Solutions is a broadcasting network for everyone. We broadcast sporting events for people of all ages, including adult leagues, high school leagues, and kids. Complete with professional-looking graphics, broadcasters, color analysis, and commercials. We do pre- and post-game interviews with the players. In addition, Sports Broadcast Solutions does highlight films, including college recruiting reels, highlight films you'd see on sports news programs, and just simply highlight films for fun. Sports Broadcast Solutions also provides raw footage and live streams if you'd like. Subscribe to us and listen to our professional talk videos about relevant topics in the pro and college ranks. Whatever your sports broadcast needs, contact us at sportsbroadcastsolutions.com and become part of the digital world. Broadcast Solutions is a broadcasting network for everyone. Instead of spending hundreds or thousands with all these college recruiting sites, let us put together your college highlight reel. For just a fraction of your potential college scholarship and significantly less than these recruiting services, we got this. In addition, we put together highlight reels for teams, including high school, your club team, or travel team.
My teammate gave me a great pass, and I just took it. The other team slashed me, took the opportunity, saw where the goalie was weak, and I just shot it there.
Solon, O'Connor, and Marsh back on defense. And Marsh gets a blowout. We got a breakaway at 2-0. A shot, and a goal! So 3-3. The power play was officially over.
Whatever your sports broadcast needs, check us out at sportsbroadcastsolutions.com. Check us out and become part of the digital world.
Missing your child's sporting event just plain stinks. But you don't have to worry about that anymore, thanks to Sports Broadcast Solutions. SBS is a live broadcasting network, as well as covering your on-demand needs, recruiting videos, highlight reels, and much, much more. We can broadcast live to any website, and we also post as much on-demand content as you need. For more information about SBS, check out our website at sportsbroadcastsolutions.com. Sports Broadcast Solutions, a broadcasting network for everyone.
You probably know the underdog story of Kurt Warner, the who played his college ball at the University of Northern Iowa. He finished his career in 1993. He went undrafted, and he had to continue his career by slinging the pigskin in the Arena Football League in NFL Europe. He was as another team from a certain Illinois city liked Warner's play in Iowa and wanted him to try out for the franchise. Yes, that's correct. The gunslinger of the greatest show on turf.
So the Bears called me and said, hey, we want to bring you in for a workout. And I am like, anytime, any place, I am in, I'm coming.
Detail. His fiancée and current wife, Brenda, reminded the Bears management that he had some fairly important weekend plans. They were getting married that weekend. The Bears, of course, understood that he couldn't bail out on his wedding plans for just a workout.
Missing your child's sporting event just plain stinks. But you don't have to worry about that anymore, thanks to Sports Broadcast Solutions. SBS is a live broadcasting network, as well as covering your on-demand needs, recruiting videos, highlight reels, and much, much more. We can broadcast live to any website, and we also post as much on-demand content as you need. For more information about SBS, check out our website at sportsbroadcastsolutions.com. Sports Broadcast Solutions, a broadcasting network for everyone. It's 1-0 Chicago Mission here in the second period of action. Kyle Smith alongside Ryan Zimmerman. Borzecki with the goal, and that's where we stand right now, partner. It's 1-0, and it has been Murphy's Law tonight. We got wind, we got snow. Because of the wind, it's 30-mile-an-hour winds. The snow is actually coming in east and west, so even with my canopy, the snow is actually coming into our canopy at times. It's nuts, but fun, but also a little nuts because we have some nice equipment in this canopy.
Yeah, there's a lot we have to protect back here. And we're very thankful to the volunteers here at the Winter Club and some of the parents that helped us with our setup so that our equipment won't get wrecked by the wind and the cold and the snow. But it's been a fun first period. But Kyle, it's about what we expected. Again, we talked about it pregame, and I know I'm going to sound like a broken record when I say this, but the snow is going to slow down the game significantly, and it has. These players can't pass the puck 10 feet without the snow slowing it down, at least to some degree, and it's really kept offense in check.
Yeah, I mean, we saw people trying to warm up, and during the warm-ups, they literally could not pass the puck. It would just stop in the snow, and they would just have to stick handle it to themselves. So we're probably just going to have to see players stick handle the puck out of the zone And if you're on defense, if you're at the point, see that. Now, don't go 3 steps and commit to charging, but see that, take them off the puck, and you don't have to clog up the passing lanes as much because of the snow right now. Now, they use towels with the Zamboni to get the snow off, but it's going to continue to get worse. It's going to snow all night, so that's going to be a problem in tonight's game. If you're a good passer, this is not the game for you. It's about stick handling and deking.
That and body checking, too. You're going to see that a lot as well, especially in the offensive zone. We've seen both teams forecheck this way, but as soon as the opposing team gets the puck in the corner, they know they can't move it, so they're just trying to muscle them off the puck because they're not trying to give it up either. The one way to get it out is to just use your body and, like you said, stick handle it out yourself. So we're seeing that aggression play in defensively as well.
Mount St. Charles against the Chicago Mission as we update our scoreboard here. Borzecki, the lone goal. Wouldn't that be something if we get a 1-0 final? I mean, we'll see, but it's going to be hard to score goals tonight unless you're good at going coast to coast. You know, coaches don't like to preach that at this age, pass the puck, but you can't pass the puck, so it's going to be a lot of coast-to-coast hockey tonight.
I'll be honest with you, Kyle. I will be very shocked if we see more than 2 goals. Just the way that teams pass, it's getting tougher and tougher to move the puck into opportune areas to score, and I just don't know. These players are obviously very good players. You wouldn't get to number 2 or number 4 in the nation otherwise, but I just don't know if they're going to be able to maneuver this snow.
60-minute periods, we'll update that on your screen in a minute here. Meanwhile, 1-0 huge hit by Whitehead. It's been Murphy's Law tonight. My original rosters got wet and got split into 2, but I got the backup rosters right now, so the second period should be good to go.
Protect those with your life.
My last set of rosters, setting it up in front, trying to get it on net. It's covered up by the netminder. Starting a net tonight for Mount St. Charles. It's going to be Steven Luch from New Canaan, Connecticut. These kids come from all over, Rhode Island, of course. We've got a kid from China and got a young man from California.
And Mount St. Charles is one of the premier hockey schools throughout the country. You're going to see players from all over the United States.
And the Mission are proven this weekend they are no joke. Not that they ever were, but they are the real deal. And they can compete with great teams like Mount St. Charles any given day.
Hey, Chicago's a hockey hotbed too. Don't you forget it.
Adrian Aucoin's son plays for the Mission. His older brother Kyle got drafted by the Red Wings. 14:49 to go. We'll update that on your screen momentarily.
Not only is he a Red Wings draft pick, he's on the team at Harvard as he develops. So
yep.
Smart man too.
Harvard is not just for law degrees and Reese Witherspoon to make us laugh. It's also about developing some good athletes. Football. Ryan Fitzpatrick with a huge hit into the boards to Beveridge. It's delivered by Knutson. You could hear that from here all the way to Kankakee. Puck and neutralized, picked up by Mount St. Charles. The snow continues. What a fun game of hockey. It's 1-0 here in Lake Forest. We're just outside of Lake Forest College. Knutson. And stolen away by the Mounties. Taps it off the boards. Teams are trying to pass it still. Not as snowy as it was in the first period, but it's going to get worse in the next couple of minutes.
Well, if you're going to try and move the puck, you got to do it early in the periods because the snow is just going to keep building up, and it's going to make it awful.
Great move. Oh, got too much of the deke to himself. Got the shot on net, though, that time by McKinney. Not much on that wrister. Puck loose, and finally smothered up by the netminder in Luciano. And now the Mission starting to take it to him the next couple of minutes. Great forecheck there. McKinney had a breakaway. Got a little bit too much on the D. Couldn't get the shot on net that he wanted. Meanwhile, frozen by Luciano. And literally, he might be frozen as it's starting to get colder here in Lake Forest.
That might be something to worry about, too. Can the goalie see the puck?
I guess the good news is only 2 things are going to happen in these conditions. They're either going to deke you out or shoot because they can't pass it to their teammates right now. If you're looking for one-timer passes, I don't know if you can do it in these conditions. Off the boards, puck loose to neutral ice, picked up by the Mounties. And the puck slides its way behind the net. Retrieved by the Mission, and they'll get it out. Mount St. Charles at neutral ice, and it goes out of play with 13:09 to go. So usually we play 17 minutes, but today we're playing 16. We played 16 yesterday. What a fun weekend for these young men. Yesterday we had indoor hockey in Northbrook. Today we've got outdoor hockey. You know what, partner? Let's have the Stanley Cup outside. No more indoor Stanley Cup. We got to have the Stanley Cup final outside in a blizzard. What do you say about that?
How are you going to find snow in June?
North Pole.
If they have the infrastructure, let's do it.
I'm gonna email Santa tonight, and I'll put some money down on the infrastructure. Get that ready to go. I mean, this is awesome. This is maybe the most fun hockey game I've ever seen. It's 1-0 right now in favor of the Mission. Faceoff won that time by 87 and 97 in Eilers. Meanwhile, it's out to neutral ice, past the blue line, picked up by the Mission. Turnaround pass off the boards. Text line still open, 330-957-7653. Good pass, lead pass, trying to tap it into the net, but pass went too far, trying to feed it to McKinney. Turnaround wrister in the net, redirection style, goal for the Mission, 2-0 Chicago. Not much that Luciano could do on that, partner.
No, he couldn't, but his defenseman really could have helped him out there. Chicago just had way too much space right in front of goal. It was just one of the easiest tap-ins you will ever see anybody score.
12:39 remaining in the period. It's 2-0. Goal scored by Ronnie Bender. 2-0 Chicago. Borzecki with a goal, Bender with one. And the Mounties, I'm not going to say they're in trouble, but we haven't seen some decent forecheck hockey from them in the last couple of minutes.
We still have more than half the game to play, so they're not dead by any means. But they really do need to ramp up the intensity. They've let Chicago have their way with them in their own defensive zone.
12:18 to go. In this very fun style of outdoor hockey. Maybe the best edition yet of the Mission hosting the Outdoor Classic. Out behind the net, now in front, trying to get it on net. The snow is now more intense. Under 12 to go in the period. We had a Zamboni. I believe we'll get another one after this period. We appreciate everybody watching today's game. Hope you're having as much fun as we are. Mounties have it, 2-on-2, trying to set it up in front, and the Mission are there to poke check it out. Out behind the net, Chicago has it. As they try to break it out, a pinch that time by center Chea. And keeping it in past the blue line, puck at neutral ice. Mission had it briefly, stolen away that time by Kilfoyle. Kilfoyle had a great game yesterday, but like the rest of his team, this might be a cross-check against the Mission. Hand went up. No ice. No call against the Mission. Could have been a cross-check. Nothing was issued. Meanwhile, 11:04 to go.
I mean, you said it earlier. They're only going to call penalties when absolutely necessary.
Well, that was pretty close. He did lead with the stick, but if you call that, you got to call more. So that's the problem with officiating. It's always got to be consistent for both teams. Out behind the net. Good check that time. Delivered by Baker. As it's played out neutral ice. Whew. 10:28 to go. It's starting to get chillier here in Lake Forest. Picked up by the Mission. That shot, bodies flying, puck scatters loose out to the corner and then sent out by the Mounties. No ice, will play on. Played out at the end line by the Mission. Getting a stick on that puck that time was 12. There's two 12s on the roster. That time was 12 Dow. 9:52 to go. Borzecki got a stick on it. Knuckle puck. Back to Borzecki. Borzecki shot to save. I don't know why there was a whistle.
Blew for offside. Chicago
Really?
Mission just didn't see the puck. The referee blew for offside, but... Oh, it was a
Got
penalty.
a
I thought
million
it was
things
both.
happening there. We've got a great
Kinda looked
save,
like
an offside, and a penalty. 3 for 3.
It's so hard to see anything.
You know what? No more penalties, no more offside. Just play hockey from now. We don't know. We can't see the blue line anymore. No whistle. Just play. I can barely see the blue line. I'm right next to the boards. Face off one that time.
No, wait, that was offside. It's 5-on-5 right now.
Yes. Yeah, so it was an automatic offside. Here we go, out to the corner. Man, this is fun. This is maybe the most fun hockey game I've ever seen. Out behind the net.
I can't see. No, I was wrong. Delayed penalty on Chicago Mission. That's why. That's why. I can barely see the Chicago Mission player in the penalty box right now.
All right, so we'll
windy.
update that for you guys. So 1:35 remaining on Chicago Mission's penalty. And then 0-1-3-5. No, right there. Yep, there you go. So we'll update that for you in a second, and then hit set. Now you got your 0-1. 9:08 remaining. We'll update that power play for you in a second, folks. Out the boards.
I mean, to be fair, after the whistle went, Chicago Mission was offside.
Oh, here it is. Duh. $8:18 to go. We'll update that in a second. 41 seconds remaining on the power play. Face-off won that time by Chicago, tapped into the zone, and now played out at the corner by the Mission. Good dump in that time by the Mounties. Out behind the net to the corner, 7:57 to go. Trying to get it on net. Now to the point. Played at neutral ice. Mission had it. Now at the blue line still. Trying to get the puck, and it's going to be blown dead by the nearest official. Possibly a penalty against the Mission.
Well, they just got a man out of the box, and they're sending another one right back in.
So we'll have a full 2-minute power play coming up from Mount St. Charles. No. They're going to call it on 14 for the Mission. 13 Barnett.
Now we got a shovel break. Borzecki, he scored the first goal, and now he's out there with a shovel to clear up the ice.
Come on, you can't have the guy who scored a goal do the shoveling. That's not fair.
Hey, you can't show favoritism.
You got to reward him. You can't have your goal scorers hurt their back with the
giving him the shovel.
They get special treatment, don't they?
No, you reward the goal scorer by giving him the shovel. Come on. I swear, I've never seen this before. The entire Chicago
backup goalies need to do the shoveling. Come on, they're nice and fresh to do it.
Hey, I was a backup goalie in soccer for one point in my life. So be careful what you say there, Kyle.
Backup goalies of tonight's game.
That's better.
This is ridiculous. We got to stop the game for shoveling.
And look, this snow is not letting up either.
Well, if you're a kid playing for the Mission or the Mounties, and you've been trying to hide how bad you are at shoveling, now your parents know you're bad at it.
Let's just say these kids are not going to escape the next time their parents ask them to shovel the driveway.
And now they can't get out. You know, you always try to, when I was 14, trying to get out of shoveling snow, you have to shovel or you can't play hockey tonight, even if you don't like it.
It's like if you don't shovel, you don't get dessert. Well, this is their dessert. So you're going to see these kids shovel with reckless abandon.
We'll update the power play in a second. It's going to be 2-minute power play coming up for Mount St. Charles. Literally after the Mission just killed a penalty.
Oh, whoever's going to the box is going to have to do it with about a couple inches of snow to stand on, too. The Chicago goalie is shoveling snow into the penalty box right now. I swear to God, I have never seen this before.
I've seen my fair share of hockey games over the years. I've watched the Stanley Cup Final. Big Penguins fan, I watched a lot of Stanley Cup Final, but I'm telling you, this is more fun than the Stanley Cup. This is awesome.
Hold on, back up. Penguins?
Penguins, yeah.
All right.
This is awesome. And because of the snow, we had to put the camera on the glass instead of over the glass, but even if we got a snow angel?
There is a snow angel on the far side. I mean, you had to see it at least once. I mean, you would expect to see it after someone scores a goal, maybe, but hey.
We'll stick with the action.
Playing in the snow. Let these kids be kids. I can't believe it. I've never seen anything like this.
We're going to take a 12-second break. We'll be right back. You're watching Shoveling, a.k.a. hockey, here in Lake Forest.
This is Sports Broadcast Solutions, a broadcasting network for everyone. Check us out at sportsbroadcastsolutions.com and become part of the digital sporting world. This is...
Well, we're back. We still haven't shoveled all the snow yet, and the problem is it's going to continue to snow, so I don't know how much damage we're going to do with the shoveling.
At a certain point, you just got to accept that it's happening, call it good at some point, and then finish the rest of this period, right?
Yeah, I think it's going to get to a point. We'll finish the period, and then I think we'll just have to do a shootout for the third period, because I don't know if this is going to stop to play a third period of hockey. Well, this is fun. Now we got the...
Parents having a snowball fight. That is so my family, but they're behind me. And I saw the first one. I just didn't know where it came from.
Well, it's not just us, the broadcasters or the players having fun. The parents are having a ball watching this.
I mean...
Or should I say having a puck, because it's hockey.
They've played so many games, and it's only January. You just got to have one of these fun games. Doesn't really matter who wins. Everybody's having fun. We got shoveling. We got snowball fights. You know, 2021, it wasn't an easy year either for these kids. And nobody around this country for that matter. And it's good to have just a fun night to get away from it all, and that's what tonight has been. Happy New Year, everybody. I hope you had a great New Year's Eve. I'm Kyle Smith alongside Ryan Zimmerman. We'll eventually get some hockey. And it's not even hockey anymore, partner. It's more like sledding on skates with all this snow.
It's like bumper cars, honestly. You can really do nothing with the puck. You just have to skate it yourself, and you can't even go that fast. And you're bound to run into somebody at some point.
Have you ever seen the movie Miracle?
I have.
You know the scene, like one of their first practices, and one of the players goes coast to coast?
Oh, yeah, Mark Johnson, the guy who scored the winning goal to win the gold.
And Kurt Russell's character just goes completely crazy on him. I'm thinking of that because the only way you can score in this game right now is going coast to coast. So everything that Coach Kurt Russell told his players goes out the window tonight for tonight's game. You have to go coast to coast. You can't pass with this snow.
Yeah, it's funny, actually. Kurt Russell actually knows a little bit about hockey. His son played pro.
That's right, yeah. Coach Brooks, Herb Brooks.
Herb Brooks.
Hey, I don't like her.
You're a Penguins fan. This is something for you to know. Former Penguins and Stanley Cup champion defenseman Brooks Orpik is named after him.
Oh, really? Good stuff. Didn't know that.
Won a couple of cups with the Penguins, and I think he got another one with the Capitals, so he did Herb Brooks proud.
You know what? That year I was rooting for the Capitals. Enough was enough. I mean, the Vegas Golden Knights were a great story, but it was their first year in the NHL, and Ovechkin had so many heartbreaking playoff losses. I was rooting hard for the Capitals that year, and they, of course, won.
I wanted the Golden Knights to win just so I could continue to laugh at the Maple Leafs.
Really? Or was it because you bet on the Vegas Golden Knights 200-1 and you wanted to make some money? Because that's what they were going into the season. They were like 200 or 500-1 to win the Cup. Yeah. Now, a cool story, if you remember this, Ryan, when the Blues were in last place, I think this was like a couple years ago, like after Christmas, a diehard Blues fan bet on the Blues at 500-1 to win the Cup, and it was Game 7 against the Bruins, and somebody offered him $500,000 for the ticket, and he said no. And, of course, the Blues won that game, and, of course, he won his 500-1 bet. That's pretty cool, though, because he was offered $500,000 to prop swap it, and he didn't.
It's true loyalty. I actually spent that summer in Maine, and they're big Bruins fans up there, so when Game 7 came around the next day, it was not a fun time.
They've gotten close a couple of times. I don't think they've won a cup since Tim Thomas was their netminder. But I could be mistaken. I know they lost.
They made it twice.
Yeah, I know they lost to the Hawks, lost to the Blues.
That's it. Those are the only two times.
That's why, yeah, I'm sure you're right. Here we go. More hockey. Face-off won by Mount St. Charles early on in their power play. We got the snow off as best we could, and the Mounties are going to try to score on the man advantage. Now, in high-performance hockey league rules, and this is actually throughout AAA hockey, you cannot ice it down a man. You can, but it's still icing. So it's kind of cool. You have to earn your way on your penalty kills. You have to get it past center ice and dump it like a normal 5-on-5.
That's interesting. Because they don't even do that in the NHL. You can ice the puck down a man, which is really, I actually kind of like that. It leads to more scoring.
Yeah, and it's sometimes there's a penalty that's a ticky-tack, so you want to help out the team that's in the box as best you can with the icing. But they want the kids to, play normal hockey. Here we go. Breakaway for the Mission. Shot to goal. A bad carom against the Mounties. And the Mission take advantage. Breakaway goal for 33. Cameron Aucoin. And that might be the backbreaker against the Mounties, partner. A shorthanded goal for the Mission. Now Mount St. Charles trails by 3.
That's almost a carbon copy of that first goal back in the first period, just in a different section of the ice. Sloppy passing for Mount St. Charles in the attacking zone, and Aucoin had a clear shot at goal, and he made no mistake about it.
We'll keep the power play on screen, but there is no more power play, of course. It's
No,
wait,
it's
no,
a
it was
shorthanded goal. They
Yeah, it was.
still have to serve the penalty.
Yeah, that's right. It was shorthanded. I'm so tired. We've been here since 2 o'clock getting this set up, but shorthanded goal for the Mission. Hope you're enjoying the game tonight. I sure am. Ryan is.
I'm having a blast, man. This has been one of the most unique hockey games I've ever gone to.
It's really not even a hockey game anymore. It's just 5-on-5 fun.
I mean, this game doesn't have an impact on the standings. It's an exhibition amongst two of the top teams in America. And I think both teams are having a good time. Maybe the Mission more so than the Mounties, but they're having a good time.
I'm sure the Mission would love to score a couple of goals, make this interesting. They were close yesterday. They were down 5-4, and they had a 2-0, but Whitehead just couldn't score on it. And then 2 unanswered goals by the Mission to put it away. But the Mounties were that close to winning yesterday. Another man advantage for the Mission. Pass in front. And less snow on the ice. The shoveling has helped, and it's not as snowy as it was an hour ago. Kilfoy sends it up the boards. No more power play for Mount St. Charles. The best penalty kill of the night for the Mission, and they scored on it as well. .5:17 to go in the second period. Hopefully the elements can die down so we can get a third period. Slow-moving puck, knuckle puck style, out to neutral ice. Picked up by the Mounties. Past the blue line, hard hit delivered by the Mission. Out at the boards, trying to set it up in front. Played out of the corner. Chicago has it off the forehand, trying to get it out of the zone. It's practically been a picture-perfect game for Chicago today. Their goalie has a shutout, but he hasn't had to do a lot as the back-checking and the breakout plays for Chicago has been fantastic. Past the blue line, blocker save. It scatters out to the face-off dot. Slow-moving puck on the shot, easily blocked by Mount St. Charles. Stolen away, turnaround shots. That time it's blocked by the Mounties. Huge hit, delivered, but it might be charging. No call yet. They're going to let it go.
Keeping his hand down. Clean hit.
Okay. I thought I saw the official wave his hand, but he might have changed his mind. It was close to being 3 steps. No ice, we'll play on. That was a huge hit by Martins. Check of the night. As it's tapped out of the zone. Face-off one, that time by the Mount St. Charles Mounties. Sama gets it in the zone. The Winter Club of Lake Forest has been around since 1902. Sent into the zone. And
he just snowed the goalie.
You have a better angle than me, partner. Do you think that was intentional?
I don't think so at all.
I don't think so either.
I mean, that was bound to happen with all the snow on the ice. He tried to pull up in front of net, and by stopping, he sprayed him. So I would call that entirely incidental.
Yeah, me too.
That's not going to stop Mount St. Charles from taking exception to that, but
yeah, why would they want to try to commit a penalty like that up 3-0?
I mean, technically that's not a penalty. That's just being mean.
Yeah, it wouldn't be unless you led with the hand towards the goalie or the stick, but. Past center ice. Past the blue line. It's 3-0 lead right now for the Mission. It's been all Chicago today. They scored once in the first, 2 in the second. Borzecki right now with the game-winning goal off our canopy. And a lucky souvenir for one of our fans.
Can't keep it.
You got to keep that puck, partner, and sell it on eBay for 50 cents.
The referee literally asked for it. He looked right at me and just gave me the "I'll take that from you" signals. I'm down to keep it, but it's not up to me. It's like catching a foul ball.
Mount St. Charles Academy, they had a Netflix documentary about them called Ice Kings, 26 straight state championships. That's what that Netflix documentary was about. 2 overall #1 picks played for Mount St. Charles, Brian Lawton and Brian Berard.
Like I mentioned earlier, Brian Lawton is the first American #1 overall pick, and I believe the first one taken directly out of high school.
Mount St. Charles Hockey Academy was one of only 2 schools in the entire nation to have all 4 tournament-bound teams, 18U, 16U, 15U, and 14U, qualify for their respective national tournaments. Good hit that time by Potter. Hitting is starting to pick up as Mount St. Charles, and that's going to be a penalty. Oh, they missed it. I'm hard to believe they missed that. It was right to the head. And now the officials got to be careful as Mount St. Charles.
Oh, it's getting chippy.
Here we go. Major pushing and shoving with some potential fisticuffs.
Oh,
now
it's a
pushing
line
and
brawl.
punching. And you hate to see it. A friendly hockey game is starting to get out of hand. And we'll see who they call it on. Should be both men in the box. Potter going as well.
Gotta take a couple moments to figure out the damage here.
I mean, we saw everybody getting hit. There was a hit to the head, taken down the ice, some checks into the boards, and then, of course, some fisticuffs being sent by both teams in the near corner.
You're not going to see these guys fight because A, that's not allowed in youth hockey, obviously, and B, fighting requires the players to take their gloves off, and I don't think they want their hands to freeze. But
well, if the official determines it was an intentional punch to the face mask or any part of the body,
no,
it's an automatic ejection.
Like, you're not going to see guys drop the mitts, is my point.
No, you won't see that. But in an outdoor hockey game, could you see players lead with the fist? I'd say no, but Mount St. Charles is definitely frustrated. They lost by 3 yesterday. They're down 3 already. They're cold. They're snowed on. They had to shovel to continue the game. I'm sure they're frustrated. But you got to keep your cool because assuming we can get the third period, and this game is far from over.
And now they're playing 5-on-3s, or rather, I should say Mount St. Charles is playing two men shorthanded. Chicago Mission has no, they got another guy out there.
All right, so
one of the guys just forgot to go out there.
So it'll be a 5-on-4 for the Mission. So we'll put 2 minutes of penalty kill hockey against Mount St. Charles. 4 in the box for the Mounties. It's going to be Hall.
And there's
for
more
the
than
Mission
one
here. Oh,
there's
bad
more than
pass.
one Mountie in the box, though.
Here come the Mounties, 2-on-2, and they just can't get anything on those passes because of the snow. Bad break for Mount St. Charles. Knutson has it.
So the final tally is Mount St. Charles got an instigator penalty and then offsetting minors on Chicago Mission and Mount St. Charles to make it 5-on-4 Mission.
That's interesting. You never see offsetting minors. Usually, if both players are fighting after the whistle, not really fighting per se, but pushing and shoving, they usually just have offsetting 5-minute penalties, and they don't show it on the board like that. So that was interesting. So it's still a 5-on-4 for 56 seconds. Aronson with it. He'll tap it into the zone. Mount St. Charles still down by 3, and they're killing a penalty as well.
Should we play a third period, the penalty will carry over into the third period.
Well,
maybe the figures on the scoreboard aren't super accurate, but I'm just going off of what I see.
For sure. That happens sometimes where there's a glitch and you try to do offsetting, and they're talking it over at the scores table about that.
I'm sure it'll get fixed in the intermission.
Puck eventually scatters out to neutral ice. Picked up by the Mission. Trying to set it up in front. Turnaround shot, saved by the netminder and Luciano. Now at the boards. Mission sending it back in, out behind the net. Tap pass off the side of the boards. 22 seconds left. Now at the corner, played out in front in the slot, trying to get it on net. Back out to the point. Turnaround slapper. Didn't get much on it. The snow got in the way as well, as did the snow on that breakout attempt. 9 seconds left. Trying to get it on net. More snow going in the air. There's more snow than puck. 2 seconds left in the period, and that'll do it for the second session. It's 3-0 Chicago as we go to break here on Sports Broadcast Solutions.
Sports Broadcast Solutions is a broadcasting network for everyone. At SBS, we offer a professional broadcasting experience for the non-professional athlete. Just like the pros, we offer everything for you. Play-by-play commentary.
A no-hitter at Kane County Stadium. 15 strikeouts, 1 walk, 1 error, and that's it.
Color commentary, highlight reels, recruiting videos, and much, much more. Unlike our competitors, we zoom in on the action and always have a live scoreboard with a live time code. If you're ready to have your next sporting event feel like CBS Sports, then make sure to call Sports Broadcast Solutions today. Our phone number is 330-957-7653, or you can go online to sportsbroadcastsolutions.com. SBS, a broadcasting network for everyone.
Sports Broadcast Solutions is a broadcasting network for everyone. Instead of spending hundreds or thousands with all these college recruiting sites, let us put together your college highlight reel. For just a fraction of your potential college scholarship and significantly less than these recruiting services, we got this. In addition, we put together highlight reels for teams, including high school, your club team, or travel team.
My teammate gave me a great pass, and I just took it. The other team slashed me, took the opportunity, saw where the goalie was weak, and I just shot it there.
Solon, O'Connor, and Marsh back on defense. And Marsh gets a blowout. We got a breakaway at 2-0. A shot, and a goal! So 3-3. The power play was officially over.
Whatever your sports broadcast needs, check us out at sportsbroadcastsolutions.com. Check us out and become part of the digital world.
Missing your child's sporting event just plain stinks. But you don't have to worry about that anymore, thanks to Sports Broadcast Solutions. SBS is a live broadcasting network, as well as covering your on-demand needs, recruiting videos, highlight reels, and much, much more. We can broadcast live to any website, and we also post as much on-demand content as you need. For more information about SBS, check out our website at sportsbroadcastsolutions.com. Sports Broadcast Solutions, a broadcasting network for everyone.
Sports Broadcast Solutions is a broadcasting network for everyone. We broadcast sporting events for people of all ages, including adult leagues, high school leagues, and kids. Complete with professional-looking graphics, broadcasters, color analysis, and commercials. We do pre- and post-game interviews with the players. In addition, Sports Broadcast Solutions does highlight films, including college recruiting reels, highlight films you'd see on sports news programs, and just simply highlight films for fun. Sports Broadcast Solutions also provides raw footage and live streams if you'd like. Subscribe to us and listen to our professional talk videos about relevant topics in the pro and college ranks. Whatever your sports broadcast needs, contact us at sportsbroadcastsolutions.com and become part of the digital world.
Sports Broadcast Solutions is a broadcasting network for everyone. At SBS, we offer a professional broadcasting experience for the non-professional athlete. Just like the pros, we offer everything for you. Play-by-play commentary.
A no-hitter at Kane County Stadium. 15 strikeouts, 1 walk, 1 error, and that's it.
Color commentary, highlight reels, recruiting videos, and much, much more. Unlike our competitors, we zoom in on the action and always have a live scoreboard with a live time code. If you're ready to have your next sporting event feel like CBS Sports, then make sure to call Sports Broadcast Solutions today. Our phone number is 330-957-7653, or you can online sportsbroadcastsolutions.com. SBS, a broadcasting network for everyone.
It's October 1st, 2007. Game 163 is taking place between the Colorado Rockies and the San Diego Padres. It's in the bottom of the 13th inning, a tie score at 8-8. The winner of this game gets a date with the Philadelphia Phillies in the National League Division Series. This is obviously a must-watch TV baseball game. I mean, who doesn't want to watch a one-game playoff that goes into extra innings? However, to fully appreciate what happens next, we have to know the history of both franchises. We have to understand that neither of these ball clubs have won a World Series. Even crazier, one of these teams hasn't even won a postseason series. To get a better grasp of this moment, we need to use a time machine. In other words, we need to rewind. The Rockies have Matt Holliday on third base and less than 2 outs. This is crucial because any fly ball to the outfield can theoretically send the Rockies to the National League Division Series on sacrifice fly. However, the mere fact that the Rockies are hosting this one-game playoff is crazy to think about. Back on September 15th, the Rockies were just 76-72. Yeah, you heard me right. Just 16 days ago, the Rockies were barely above 500. So how the heck are the Rockies even tied with the Padres for the National League wildcard spot? As Al Davis would say,
just win, baby.
Just win, baby. Yeah, the Rockies have sure won a lot of games lately. An unfathomable 10-game winning streak from September 16th until September 27th saw the Rockies go from 4.5 games back of the Padres to just 1. In a twist of fate, the Rockies swept the Padres during that winning streak to get back into the NL wildcard race. But hey, that was just a lucky winning streak, right? There's no way this ball club led by Clint Hurdle could win 2 out of 3 against the first-place Arizona Diamondbacks and sneak into the playoffs, correct? And if you answered anything but yes to those questions, you'd be dead wrong. Arizona ended Colorado's winning streak during Game 1 of the crucial 3-game set, but after dominating the Diamondbacks 11-1 on September 29th, the Rockies held on for a 4-3 win on the last day of the regular season. Nail-biting wins have been nothing new to the Rockies and their fan base. One of their wins during the 12-1 finish to the regular season included a 14-inning victory over the Padres. But have the Rockies simply taken the wild card away from the Padres, or did San Diego majestically crumble down the stretch? Well, it's a little bit of both. Entering MLB game action on September 16th, the Padres were 80-67. They ended up finishing the year at 89-73. So a 9-6 record in their last 15 games is nothing to be embarrassed about from your ball players. But a 3-game sweep at the hands of the Rockies was still pretty bad, especially considering that all 3 games were at Petco Park. Also, the Padres had the Brewers down to their last strike on September 29th, but Tony Gwynn Jr. knocked a game-tying triple off Trevor Hoffman to send the game into extra innings. How brutal irony is that? The son of the greatest Padre ever quite possibly stopped you from going to the playoffs. What gets lost in the shuffle is that the Rockies were actually a third-place team in the wild card race prior to their incredible finish. The Dodgers were up 3 games on the Rockies after all the games concluded on September 15th. So what the heck happened to the Dodgers? It's hard to exactly say why they simply forgot to play baseball, but their final record speaks for itself. On September 15th, the Dodgers were 10 games over 500. By September 30th, the team barely finished with a winning record at 82-80. You can't make this stuff up. The Dodgers went from 79-69 and just 1.5 games back on San Diego for the wild card spot to finishing 7 games back of both Colorado and San Diego. Colorado literally had to sweep Los Angeles to knock the Dodgers out of the playoffs, and the Rockies did just that from September 25th until September 27th. The Dodgers might be known for playoff choking nowadays, but late-season chokes are nothing new to the Dodger faithful. Anyway, back to the Padres and Rockies. The Rockies were 12-1 down the stretch, but a minor choke job by the name of Ron Burgundy allowed Colorado to host a 1-game playoff. The Padres were 2 games ahead of the Rockies on September 29th, meaning they just had to win either of their next 2 games against the Milwaukee Brewers or 1 Rockies loss the next 2 days clinched a wild card spot for Bud Black's team. The 2007 Milwaukee Brewers were actually in first place of the NL Central Division during most of the regular season, but a late surge by the Cubs, as well as a collapse, saw the Brewers outside of the playoffs for yet another year. They still played spoilers, though, and after dispatching the Padres in 11 innings on September 29th, the Brew Crew disallowed September 30th from being the Padres' clinch day. A very convincing 11-6 win for Milwaukee as the Padres had to fly from Milwaukee to Denver for a National League West grudge match. Just like that, Game 163 determined who would win the National League wild card. This was huge for Rockies fans as their favorite baseball team hadn't sniffed the postseason since 1995. Colorado began as an expansion franchise in 1993, and the Rockies earned the first ever NL wildcard spot in 1995. The Rockies fought hard in the division series against the Atlanta Braves, but the eventual World Series champion Braves took care of the Blake Street Bombers 3-1. But since then, the Rockies have always found ways to lose games. More importantly, it's their pitching staff who seemingly always lets them down. Even when the Rockies won the wild card in 1995, you probably don't know any of their starting pitchers. Kevin Ritz, Bill Swift, and Marvin Freeman were arguably their 3 afterthought in the National League West. Coming into the 2007 MLB season, Bruce Bochy had enough with postseason disappointments, and he left for greener pastures in San Francisco. Some Padres fans felt it was treason, as Bochy led the team to division titles in 2005 and 2006. While they were back-to-back NL West crowns, the 2005 team barely finished with a winning record, and after being swept by the Cardinals in the NLDS, Bruce Bochy's team finished the year under 500 at 82 and 83. The 2006 squad was much better, but those pesky Cardinals were still too much for San Diego to handle. San Diego had home field advantage for the division series, but Bochy's crew only scored a single run in their first 2 postseason games. The offense was slightly awake when they entered Busch Stadium. A 3-1 win in Game 3 gave San Diego fans new hope, but it was quickly taken away during Game 4. 6 unanswered runs by St. Louis gave the Cardinals the series win and yet another postseason disappointment in Southern California. Bud Black took the 2007 job after Bochy left for the hated Giants. Led by NL Cy Young winner Jake Peavy, the Padres were in first place in the NL West as late as September 3rd. Peavy got the nod for this one-game playoff. It was his turn in the rotation since he hadn't pitched since September 26th. But for whatever reason, the best pitcher in the National League was anything but clutch tonight. 3 straight Rockies got on base to start off the bottom of the first, and after Yorvit Torrealba cranked a bomb to left field, the Rockies led 3-0 after 2 innings of baseball. Starting pitcher Josh Fogg was sent out in the top of the third to preserve the lead, but he simply wasn't up for the task. Peavy helped out his own cause with a leadoff single. Brian Giles found his way to first base with a walk, and after Scott Hairston hit a single to load the bases, Adrian Gonzalez emptied them with a game-changing grand slam. Fogg still couldn't settle down after the grand salami. Khalil Green and Josh Bard both got on base via the hit, forcing Fogg to intentionally walk Jeff Blum to load the bases. Brady Clark then made a solid contact with a ground ball to shortstop, and his speed forced the Rockies to just get the force out at second base. Just like that, it's now a 5-3 lead for Peavy and the Padres.
Matsui didn't get anything on this throw. Blum was all over him. He was a little off balance after he came across the bag to make the throw.
Fogg was able to get a 1-2-3 inning in the 4th inning, but Hurdle wasn't pleased with his pitcher. He gave up 10 fly balls on a night when the wind was clearly blowing out, so he decided to go to his bullpen early. Peavy wasn't much better than Fogg tonight as the Rockies tied up the score in the bottom of the 5th. An early holiday for Rockies fans as Matt Holliday singled in Tulowitzki for a 5-5 tie. Black was still confident in his young fireballer though, so he sent Peavy on the bump for the 6th inning. It was the same old story for Peavy as the Rockies retook the lead. Everybody was seemingly able to hit him tonight. Seth Smith hit the very rare pinch hit triple with 1 out. It was timely hitting all night for Colorado as Kaz Matsui got underneath the ball and delivered a sacrifice fly to center field. Another lead for the Rockies, and this time around the relief pitchers were up for the task. After relieving Fogg, the Rockies bullpen held the Padres scoreless until the top of the 8th. The Padres were able to muster just 2 hits from the 5th inning going into the 8th. Taylor Buchholz led the Rockies bullpen by going 1 2/3 innings, allowing just 1 hit and threw 12 strikes on 13 pitches. But Brian Fuentes just couldn't hold the lead. After relieving Troy Hawkins with 6 outs to go, Fuentes was a tad bit wild and inaccurate. Blum got the much-needed leadoff single, and although Fuentes got the next 2 batters out, Torrealba couldn't quite handle this 1-2 slider from Fuentes, allowing Blum to reach second base on the drop third strike wild pitch. On the 3rd pitch of the subsequent at-bat, Giles potentially saved his team's season with a game-tying double to left field.
Pretty good wood on it, and maybe that's what fooled Holliday as it sailed over his head.
But Hairston couldn't send Giles home after that. Granted, Tulowitzki's dart from shortstop, Helton's great stretch at first base was excellent defense. Neither team could score again in regulation, so we went to extra innings. The next 3 innings were full of drama as both teams had chances to score. San Diego had runners on 1st and 2nd with 2 outs in the top of the 10th, but Matt Herges jammed Giles and got the inning-ending ground out. Colorado had a golden opportunity for a walk-off win in the bottom of the 11th. With Brad Haupt at the plate, Colorado had the game-winning run 180 feet from home, but Joe Thatcher fooled Haupt on an 88-mile-per-hour fastball to end the threat. The Padres had their own runner in scoring position with less than 2 outs in the top of the 12th, but Brian Myro struck out, and Michael Barrett grounded out to keep the score at 6-6. The Rockies went 1-2-3 in the 12th game as the game entered inning number 13. And this was quite possibly the greatest extra inning in professional baseball history. 5 total runs would eventually be scored in this inning. With everything on the line, the offenses for both teams woke up in a huge way. San Diego struck first in the top half. Giles quite possibly had the game of his life by reaching base yet again. This time it was via the leadoff walk. Hairston, who was looking to make up for his anti-RBI single in the 8th inning, came up big with a giant 2-run homer to give the Padres the lead back, their first one since it was 5-4. Julio then gave up a single to Chase Headley, so Clint Hurdle had to call on Ramon Ortiz to limit the damage. Ortiz kept the score at 8-6 with 2 flyouts and a strikeout, but the Padres were now just 3 outs away from their 3rd straight trip to the NLDS. In came Trevor Hoffman for the save. It's hard to believe that Black never used Hoffman prior to the 13th inning, but credit Black for thinking his team would have the lead in extra innings. A future Hall of Famer, Hoffman was on the last Padres World Series team back in 1998. He finished in second place for Cy Young voting on 2 different occasions. His last second-place Cy Young finish was just last season, where he saved 46 games for the division-winning Padres. He's been very good in 2007, although his ERA has climbed a bit since last year. Still, he entered tonight with an ERA well under 3 and a 2-run cushion. Even though the Padres are on the road in a very tough environment, there's no way that Hoffman could blow this. And yet the average baseball fan was wrong again. Everything that could go right has gone right for the Rockies since the middle of September. So with that logic in mind, the hitting sticks were available to everyone in the bottom of the 13th. Back-to-back doubles by Mitsui and Tulowitzki put the tying run on second base with nobody out. And if you could believe it, another triple by the old Hoffman to intentionally walk Rockies legend Todd Helton. Not a bad decision, obviously, since Jamie Carroll was due up next and not Garrett Atkins. Even though Hoffman is facing the middle of the order, manager Clint Hurdle decided to have Carroll pinch run for Atkins in the bottom of the 7th. There was 1 out with Atkins at second base. While the Rockies were up by 1 at the time and needed some insurance runs, deciding to pinch run for your 5-hole hitter is always risky. The Rockies, of course, didn't score that inning and now needed the little-known Carroll to drive the ball into the outfield for a walk-off win. Carroll wasn't exactly a threat at the plate. In fact, he was a borderline disaster when it came to offense. After batting .300 during the 2006 regular season, he was a major disappointment this season by hitting just .222 in 107 games coming into tonight. But tonight was a different story. His 2-out single preserved the 11th inning rally before Hop inevitably went down on strikes. So as of now, Hurdle's decision to put Carroll in the lineup as a substitute is starting to look okay. And with nobody out, all Carroll needs is a fly ball. But is Holliday the right guy to score the winning run on a potential sacrifice fly? Haha, absolutely not. He only stole 11 bases during the year and was caught on 4 of those attempts. However, his base running IQ was off the charts during his prime, as he stole 28 bases on 30 attempts in 2008. Well, here we go. It's the first pitch of the at-bat. Can Hoffman jam the non-explosive Carroll into a ground ball with the infield now in? Will Holliday run on contact? If the ball is hit into the outfield, can the Padres outfielders throw out Holliday and keep their team alive?
Are the National League wild card winners.
Hold on a second. Did Holliday actually touch home plate? Let's look at that again. I'll be darned. I don't think he touched the plate. Michael Barrett tagged him, but the home plate umpire determined that Holliday touched home base. This was years before instant replay challenges, by the way, so the Padres had to live with home plate umpire Todd McClellan's safe call. Murphy's Law to the fullest. Whatever can go right for the Rockies has gone right. Rocktober began in the grandest of ways as Holliday's walk-off sacrifice fly run paved the way to 7 straight victories and an eventual trip to the World Series. Since then, the Padres have only been to the playoffs once. The Rockies have played in 2 more wild-card games since 2007, which concludes an extra-inning win over the Cubs at Wrigley Field.
And the Rockies have won 14 of their last 15 games to get to the postseason.
Little extra effort to get it done tonight.
We got decibels, David. Hit record, we're good, okay? Welcome to the post-game show brought to you by Sports Broadcast Solutions. My name is Kyle Smith, but mine doesn't matter. These young men matter. The netminders, the guys, the real hockey players, the guys who made sure they didn't score any goals. A combined shutout, 3-0 for both goalies. Your name and what period you played tonight for the Mission?
I played the first period and a half, and my name is Bjorn Bronis.
Your name and who should we credit the shutout to?
My name's Dane Chuck, and I played the half of the second.
How tough was it playing hockey in these conditions?
I mean, it was all in your eyes, and you couldn't even see any of the shots, so it was hard.
Could you even see a puck, or if you saw a cylinder, you're like, okay, that's the puck, I got to save it?
Yeah, I just saw the release, and I just went down, hoping it hit me.
Hoping that it was a puck and not snow?
Yeah.
A 3-0 shutout, you guys won 7-4. What does that mean to you that you can win different hockey games in different ways?
I think it just shows how abstract we can be and how we can always be prepared for any sort of conditions at all times.
Not just you and your teammate between the pipes, but the back checking, breaking the puck out quick. What do you guys work in practice to make sure that you can survive even in conditions like this, getting the puck out quick?
We're always intense in battles and all drills. We're always going 100% in practice, so I have to give credit to our coaches as well for being great coaches.
It was 1-0. Did you guys feel that it might be getting away from you a little bit when Mount St. Charles was going on their forecheck middle of the first period? Or once it became a 2-0 lead, you guys felt pretty secure about getting the W tonight?
I felt pretty secure because it's pretty hard to move the puck around, and I feel like we kept them in their zone the whole game. So.
Me and my partner Ryan Zimmerman, we were talking about it was so hard to pass tonight. So did you guys change the intensity and how you played the game with more stick handling and deking versus passing?
I went out a little bit more because I didn't have to recover back to slide around, and so I was bigger for the shot.
Final thoughts about playing in the Outdoor Classic?
I think it's definitely a very fun experience, very different compared to normal, and I think overall, it will definitely be in my memories for the rest of my life, and I'll always think about it and bring it up to kids.
What's it like playing indoors versus outdoor hockey?
Outdoor, it's obviously a lot harder because you can't see the puck, but it's a lot more fun because it's like classic hockey outdoors. And then inside, I mean, it's more precise and stuff, but it still has fun anyways. But.
All right, on 3, go Mission. 1, 2, 3.
Go Mission.
You're watching the post-game show brought to you by Sports Broadcast Solutions, and we'll see you next time.